Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy P Fog, thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Oh, we about to get busy because I'm about to book. I got the book out, and my man Asa Hilliard, he had a problem with us being mentally enslaved, and that's what we're going to talk about today: how to free your African mind. Right thinkers, this is the good life lesson. Pay attention. I got you. Rightisms, 25 rule to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question: do you know you? You well on through? Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep, I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my God, be true. Right thinkers, this is my dude. This is one of my favorite authors, Asa Hilliard. I got one of his books, got an autograph by him, so I'm a big fan. We're going to talk about the psychological imagery of ourselves and the misunderstanding and misinterpretation. What's wrong with that picture? Okay? You see behind me, a little kid right here. A friend of mine gave me that. I thought it was the best gift I've received for anybody in Patterson personally. Why? Because it signifies what I always want to understand. He's standing there on books in the bathroom before he do what he got to do. Imagine himself as a pharaoh. I love that. This is the total opposite of that. You feel me? That's the problem. Now, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to end up with that. So we need to see ourselves as what? Kings and pharaohs, not ex-slaves. And the white man, our hero, is going to save us. How to free your African mind. Become a right thinker. Know thyself. One of the ways. That's my way. That's how I did it. All right, let's talk about this thing. Mental bondage is invisible violence. Former physical slavery, the chains and the whips, all that has ended in the United States. Okay. But that mental slavery continues to this day. And that's what got me so upset with that white man, because you still playing the mind game with us, and we just ain't got smart enough to realize that, and it's driving me crazy. I'm teaching you how to use this. What? That's the only weapon you got against that guy. Anything else gonna fail. Okay. But this slavery affects that mentality, the mind of all people. And watch this. In one way, it is worse than physical slavery alone. Ooh, I thought, no, pay attention and listen and try to conceive and understand what he's trying to say here. This is the person is in mental bondage. They will be self-contained. What you mean? Not only will that person fail to challenge the beliefs and the patterns of thought which controls them, he will defend and protect those beliefs and patterns of thought virtually with his last dying effort. That's all religious people. They got y'all messed up. Now I keep trying to explain that to you, but it's ways to pass that at this point. But this is what he was saying the whole time. When they realize how they can enslave us mentally, we become our own jail keepers. Okay? Like self-inflicted wound, black on black crime. We ain't did nothing good for ourselves. Everything stereotypical about us that's negative, we portray it. Why is that? I'm just saying, I got a problem with that. And I'm the bad guy. I'm standing up saying with God, hey, y'all, what we ain't never gonna stop doing the nonsense? Been there, drug dealer, local, did been there. But when we gonna stop doing the nonsense? Start some good stuff, positive stuff. That's gonna benefit us as a people. We get one to make it, everybody swear they done made it. I don't want to be one lead. No, I want a whole bunch of me's. Why? That way they can't stop it. If they just got one me, then they got to do take me out, then stop the revolution, stop the movement. Right thing philosophy dies if I die. Why? Nobody know it. I can teach it, nobody can further it. So it'll die with me. Again, I understand that. But legacy is giving us something that's going to be around for a while. I'm trying to state my claim. We're thinking how to right think with this thing right here. The man in the mirror concept complex. The psychological effects of mental slavery is still being portrayed today. And that was a message, that was a message from Asa Hilliard III from the introduction to the 1976 reprint of his book, one of my favorites, Stolen Legacy. That brother go in and he don't come out. He do it to them constantly. He don't let up. I love that about him. But we as a people probably never heard of him and what he represents, what he stands for. Us as a people, we don't get that. I guess at Black History Month, his name might not pop up. A lot of we know all the famous ones. We know that. But if you was a true searcher of knowledge, you would know the ones that everybody don't talk about. Nobody know about me. That mean I'm not good. I'm not intelligent. I'm not good at what I'm doing. No, it just mean everybody ain't into it. I understand that, and that ain't got to be for everybody. I understand that too. So trust me. We dealing with mental slavery, and my biggest bugaboo is what? Know thyself. That's how you defeat mental slavery. Come up out of that. Somebody's running you nonsense. I just told you, control your mind. You control you. Know thyself, and that's what power that he can't control. He can't manipulate. Mental slavery is a condition affecting people regardless of their race, nationality, or economic status. Why? Because the perceptions of reality that you have in your mind will either free you or keep you enslaved. Your choice. If you're ignorant, you choose to be enslaved. Enlightened, you're going to break the mold. You're going to piss a few people off. You're going to lose a few friends, a whole bunch of other stuff. Trust me, I know that part about it too. Okay, but if you want to know you're going to have to go through that. Simple as that. Okay, but the question is, one has to ask him or herself the question, what has been the cumulative effect of the manipulation of the history of the African people? If you're not a historian, if you don't study the history, you might not have a clue what they're talking about. But for somebody who do, and I do, this question is of particular importance to who? People of African descent. Again, I'm Native American. I go further and say, okay, my roots is in Africa. But when I told my grandmother, my granny, I'm going to Africa and get with my ancestors, she said, baby, we didn't come over here by no boat. Get it, concept. Cherokee, okay, Northeast, get all that, did that. And I got so mad after studying my heritage as a Native American. Man, I was fighting mad with that white man. Again, I see what he did to Egyptians. Okay, I see what he did, but then I saw what you did to Nick. Dude, and now I'm watching what you do to me. So I got more than one reason to be upset with that guy. Understand that my hate and dislike for him is not born on what I read. I ain't able to know what I'm experiencing from him for myself. So I can see why people wrote what they wrote about him. Sorry. But we as a people need to get better. And that's the problem. What has happened to the minds of generations of African Americans who grew up believing that, you ready for this? This is the mind blowing from the 50s and 60s. White hair was good hair, and light skin or was fair skin was what's happening. And the minds of many people who grew up hearing that your skin is too dark, your nose is too wide, your ears, well, excuse me, your nose is too wide. You're hearing that your skin is too dark, your nose is too wide, and your lips are too thick, and your hair is too nappy. Those are all qualities of a black person that you should be proud of. But they flipped the script and got you shame of who you are. And I'm about to show you people who got nose jobs. We about to get into Michael Jackson thing. That's what this is leading to. But this was back in the 60s, in the 70s, when everybody wanted to be famous, had to look a certain way, had to be a certain way. I don't give a damn. I'm not selling out. I just gave less about authenticity. God don't respect sellouts. Gangsters don't respect rats. Moving on. Be true to the game. That's my point. What happens to a people who grow up believing that the image of the man or woman who stares back at them in the mirror, I put it there for a reason. Okay? And it's been there since I got it. Why? I wanted to make that point. That's what I wanted to teach my young people. Okay, this is for young people right here. All right. I don't have many listeners, but this is for y'all. Y'all should see yourself as royalty, not as no damn ex-slaves. So, and that inferior look is incapable of what? Correct thoughts or action. If you think less of yourself, if your self-esteem is on the low side, they don't have to worry about you. You're self-defeated, all right? Over a period of years, these people would become mentally enslaved by thoughts of what? Inferiority. A lot of us suffer from inferiority complex. Don't think me this, don't think me that. I never had a problem. Okay. Now these are some famous people that we all know. And I never forget this one right here. Stephanie Mills. Okay. I know her. Okay. I remember her when she was like this. Okay. Why? I'm gonna put the business out here, Patty, but I go back when her and Nona Hendricks was, they was doing their thing. And we was young back then in the 70s. Before she got famous. Okay. She had a big wazoo. All of a sudden, she got this well-tapered snoozala, what they call it. But then I didn't give a crap about my man, the guitar player, George Benson. Dude, you say on Broadway you can play this here guitar, so why you got to change to be a star? Then, classic. I saw Stephanie Mills in the Wiz. High school, went to see the play on Broadway. I'll never forget that day. We in like the front row, so I could see her nose all over her face. Cute girl, but just a lot of nose. Okay, but that ain't no big deal about that. But then all of a sudden, she went from Snazzola to one of these things. What the hell? That ain't even the same person. Okay, and I witnessed that one. We're gonna talk about Mike in a minute. We about to get to him. It just go off on Mike. But this is the mentality of us back then. Mental slavery is thoughts of inferiority. And when they have this image and stare back in the mirror, they have an issue with that. Why? It gives the opportunity to date millions of Africans who would gladly, young people, now they're getting big. What the hell are you getting a fake butt for? Jesus. They gladly pay a plastic surgeon to do to them what Napoleon Bonaparte allegedly did to the Sphinx. Everybody know the story. He blew the nose off the Sphinx. Okay? It wasn't him, so another story. All right. Again, we hear stories, and if you don't, you don't even pay attention, you probably believe half of that stuff. Most of it is wrong. But since nobody holds them accountable to say stuff, we're in the information age right now. They don't say the information got to be right or wrong. They just say information, so they just flood you with information. It's your job to be discernible about what's good information. That's my point with that. But they don't hide it no more. They had all this information was hidden. Now that they could just, instead of giving it to you, say this is what we hit. No, they're gonna give you everything, good, bad, and different. So they're still doing the same thing, confusion. All right, but here let's move the face off the space. But the question is, everybody want a face job. That is, watch this, change their nose and lips in an attempt to become something other than what God created. I'm not getting tattoos. I'm not getting piercing. I'm not mutilating my body. Simple as that, point blank, end of discussion. I don't care what simple, what tradition. Don't give a good hoot. It ain't my thing. Understand that. Move on. But many people mistakenly believe that what? Because we in the devil's domain, that money will bring them happiness. I've been telling you this the last 10 years. God damn it, let that thought go. But you can't. You just can't. You can't help it. I know we need money to survive. I ain't saying don't get your money. I'm saying don't let that be what motivates or drives you. Why? You're going to fall short. But money without conscience, self-respect, integrity, pride will usually lead to self-destruction of some form or another. Whatever it is your addiction is, that when you get the money to satisfy that addiction, if it ain't good and healthy, you're going to have problems. No matter what it is, how it is, we all suffer from that. That's human nature. But take, for example, entertainers who serve as larger than life role models for most youth. We look up to them, right? I'm a George Clinton fan, okay. After I met George, I ain't give a damn about, I would never get starstruck. Why? I met my man, so I don't give a damn about nobody else. That's all I want to do. So, but most of you, they starstruck, and many adults get caught up in that, that ain't my thing. But why? They have money and fame. But most of them lack what we call a sense of what? Security and cultural identification. They're not being themselves. The few people who are themselves are unique in this anomaly. Why? In Hollywood and all that other stuff. Why? Because y'all just got a way of making people mess people up. Simple as that. I don't want to be, no. I told my brother never again, dude, if we make it big, I'm glad we did. Why? I'm not going to none of the parties. I don't do none of socializing. I don't do none of that. I get somebody to do that. I don't do that. Won't do that. So I'm glad I had to make that decision. But a survey of a select group of popularity, a select group of African American entertainers will show that as their popularity increased, what happened? They had wanted to, what they call, crossover appeal. What you mean? No, you want to look more like the white man. And every black person that had to make that decision, and those who did it, regretted it. Those who didn't, never regretted it. What that tell you? If you want to sell your soul, you're gonna regret that for the rest of your life. Simple as that. Ain't no getting around that one. So, simple fact. But commercially, okay, and physically, as these entertainers crossed over, aka sold their soul to the devil, made that deal willingly, okay, on the returns of what? Getting something back. So he didn't hook you, he didn't do nothing. You went on the premise of getting what you want after getting, made the deal. So now you could what? See a profound change in their hair, their noses, and their lips. They changed their look. This look right here. Look right there. Had a whole bunch of looks. This is the look that ain't gonna change. Why? This is it. Party's over. I ain't trying to appease or please or do nothing for nobody but myself. Take it or leave it. Don't make a difference to me. If I gotta go to a black or white, if I go somewhere, I want to be able to say, I ain't give a damn. I'm wearing what I want to wear. Simple as that. If I can't do that, I ain't going. So that's what I'm at in my life. So I'm not conforming. That's what I'm saying. I'm not giving in. I'm not changing jack. My man told me I never forget one of my boys said when I got into that arena, you got to get some suits. I said, man, I got suits. He said, what kind of suits? I said, sweatsuits. He said, nah. Where we going? I said, my man, if we going to a spot and it wasn't about how I look, I'm going to put you in front of me. And when they let you in, I'm gonna do a bum rush it, all right, and take it from there. So I'm not conforming. Still haven't bought them suits. I bought a couple of suits, all right, not for that reason, but yeah, just because I gotta go out somewhere, I got to dress up. I'm still conforming to that part. I ain't just so I bought a couple of suits. I ain't had them on yet. Still in the bag. Every time I pull it out, something comes up. I ain't got to put it on. Moving on. All right, another story. All right. Oh Lord. All right, let me take this on home. I'm gonna get into the Michael Jackson thing, but a little bit right quick. No person in entertainment history has ever undergone a makeover as dramatic as everybody know Michael Jackson. Okay, analyzing his career, one can see that the most radical changes took place after the release of what? That Thriller album. At the Thriller, he just lost his mind. Okay, this album, placed after the release, became the largest selling record in history of the music industry, and it made the name Michael Jackson what a household word. The tremendous success of the Thriller album, more than 42 million, have been sold to date. Whatever you did before you got the Thriller was cool. Everything was fine. After Thriller, you lost your mind, and that's obvious to everybody because something went way wrong. All right, sent shockwave through 42 million who have what? Okay, so now it sent shockwave throughout the show business industry. Show business has been described by some executive at 5% show and 95% business. What the hell kind of ratio is that? I ain't even getting involved in that nonsense. I ain't even getting involved in that. But if any kind of business with 8 but 5% one and 95 the other, that ain't a good business. No, I didn't study business. I didn't need to. I know business than that. So, entertainers like athletes, counterparts of the sports arena, of historical counterparts of the plantations, or commodities to be what? Marketed in a manner similar to what? Apple computer, Toyotas, or Nike sneakers. Yeah. Perfect example. A kid, Stephen A. Smith. One minute you want to be recognized in the hood because you hood from the hood. Next minute you act like you all bougie and all that. So we don't know where you met. Everybody ain't with that. You can't flip flop and one minute you this, next minute you that. It's hard to keep track, so I don't got time for that. No authenticity, I can't deal with that. But people recognize that. Moving on, and everybody got their opinions about that. But the challenge faced by those responsible for marketing Michael Jackson after his numerous success Thriller album was formidable. How was one to market the world's most popular entertainer and then the image of an African American is the most consistently negative portrayed image in the world? Light them up. Straighten the nose out. And them lips up. Lighten the complexion. Light, bright, damn near white. That's we know about Mike. Okay? And that was their solution, obviously, and that's what happened. Moving on, I ain't got time for that. That's just we know the history of that. I want to get to my man right here. Wrapping it up with this one. And this is my personal problem right here. If we can't see that as a problem, we ain't never gonna get out of this issue we dealing right now. Cause this the Tarzan mentality. I grew up with Tarzan. He always was running everything, and everybody was scared of him. And one but one of him. You got niggas all over the jungle. Everybody gets scared. We got Leroy Brown. We got B. Debo. We got a bunch of. Nobody give a damn about you flying around in the air in your underwear. All right, let me wrap this up. But that's just my mindset. And they want us to believe that, he can swing with a woman his arm. Jane, he got a monkey. His best friend's a monkey. Get back. Stop. What's wrong with this picture? I got a problem with this picture because coming up, we didn't have black heroes. Yeah, we had to imagine we had to make ours up. We had to create our heroes. But they kept flooding us with these white superheroes, Superman, all that nonsense. Okay, but what's wrong with this picture? A child dreams of being. This is mental slavery at its highest, right here. This is I'm going to close out with this. A child dreaming of being the latest superhero. What could be wrong with that? No, nothing. Why? Plenty of children is black and can't even imagine what a black hero, a hero of their color, he or she. Wonder Woman, white. Anybody in that hero was all white. Wasn't no black heroes? I'm with John Henry Clark. You would think with all the good stuff going on, you figure they might let one little black or brown come up in there, enjoy the festivities. Not a one. So I got an issue with them. But it's like this. Children learn by what they see. We know that. And if it weren't for black media, a black child wouldn't see the world as it really is, with black men and women doing what? Positive things besides playing a damn basketball or sing a song. Shucking and jiving, singing and dancing. That's what they want the black man to do to entertain them. Are you not entertained? An intelligent black man won't do that, so they don't like him. Okay? Off of his head. Why? He's too smart. He don't do what we want him to do. And that's the peace and power. That's how they did it. They didn't respect that you were different. They didn't respect that you had some pride and respect for yourself. No, that was beneath them. Moving on. But what can you do to make sure that our kids have self-pride? Being black and proud. Let's make being black and proud again worth being black and proud. Being black and ignorant means nothing. Being black and dead means worse. Okay? Decide which media shows what? Them blacks as what blacks really are. If we keep footing the bill for negative stereotype as black people, they're going to keep showing that. They're not going to stop doing that. But if we would stop giving them the media tape of that, they have to. I'm just saying, some stuff we can prevent. Instead of complaining after the fact, that's Monday morning quarterbacking. Stop giving them the ammunition to shoot at you so that you can stand on your own. As long as you keep giving ammunition, you can't stand on your own. Moving on, we got to get better as a people. Singing and dancing ain't all we do as a people. What can you do to make sure that our children have self-pride? And this, okay. So watch this. And we were BOCA. That's called the Black Owned Communication Alliance. Now this was back in the 70s. I remember him. Okay, I meant to check into that. What happened? But it's called Black Owned Communication Alliance, and as an organization of what? Blacks working for blacks. Remember, made the FUBU for us, by us. I'm telling my Egyptian history. I don't want no white person telling me about us. No, tell us about y'all. Don't tell us about us. We can tell you about us. Moving on. Excuse me. We didn't want what? We don't want your money as the people. We want we want you to use the power that you have to get what you deserve. What? A real picture of yourself by your people. Not having to present you this way or make you that way. Stop. Thanks, Spike. Okay. But your hopes, your problems, your needs, we also want is our opinion to be heard. So again, things that you see that's not what you think it should be, you can voice your opinion in a respectful manner. We can get together and deal with those issues. We ain't got to hoop and holler and cuss at each other because you see things different than I do. We ain't got past that yet, so we still got some issues to deal with within our own race of people. But this seeing ourselves as somebody else got to stop. See yourself as somebody who we really was. Pharaohs, kings, leaders of the country. We brought to society everything that works for our in society. Remember that as a black person, please. I'm going to shut it down right now. I got to go. In closing, right thinkers, man, you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I never know that my right thinkers who coming up out of what's that mental slavery have passed away. Don't die a slave. You're going to come back. So that's me.